blanket.
Here, Rosie.
Oh my goodness. Show John what that is, Joy.
Get it open.
Placements in foster care have increased nationwide over the past 10 years. In New Jersey, the Administrative Office of the Courts listed about 13,000 children in out-of-home placement in 2011. These children are removed from their homes due to abuse or neglect and placed in licensed foster households throughout the state.
What it takes to become a foster parent, you need to be sponsored by an adoption agency, and that agency will take you on, and then they have a series of classes, and it's meeting state requirements.
Michelle's the president of the Morris County Foster Parents Association. We have speakers training that come out. Part of your licensing with DIFAS is that you have to do in-service training. When we became foster parents, you had to go through 10 hours of training. Now the training is 27 hours.
Really, you do learn a lot on how to parent and what to expect from a child that would come into your home.
But that's not it. You also have to they do extensive background checks, fingerprints at the state and the federal level.
The state comes and they inspect your house and they certify your house. Your house has to have fire extinguishers, fire detectors. All the outlets need to be covered. They even check the temperature of the water coming out of your shower.
Your life is not private any longer, and you'll have a lot of people visiting the home. You will have the caseworker coming out frequently. You will have a CASA worker, which is a court-appointed special advocate for that child. Sometimes you'll have the child's attorney.
Foster parents take children into their homes and hearts, creating a safe and secure place for them to live and grow. A task that can be both rewarding and difficult.
Over the years, there's been times where children even have been tougher than other times. It doesn't mean that you care more, it just means that you may have had that child with you longer, or there may have been an attachment with one of the children and your child. One of the girls that was with us, Summer, and my daughter Carly were buddies. They were sisters and best of friends, and then she eventually moved on, and it was extremely difficult because not only was it difficult for my husband and I not having contact, but then you're talking about a child now not having that contact.
You have to get attached. If you don't get attached, how can you love the child? And it's okay, you know, if the child goes, you do what you can for a little while, and then the child goes. But it's okay, you know, you did what you could. You make a difference.
We had the two brothers, and this was probably the hardest separation we had. We were hoping we were going to get to adopt them, and then they ended up being removed and going back with their father. The workers had to like peel them off of us, and then they'd say, I want to be with you, I want to be with you, and we're like, you know, we were so lucky to have you.
For the foster parents, what I've seen is they're kind of used to the swing of things. They're used to having kids come in and out, but they can't help getting attached, especially if it's been for an extensive period of time. It's hard, and we just have to work on, like, it's kind of like grieving a loss, you know?
Having our, I guess it was the 7-month-old leave, I could not contain myself, and they say, you know, you really should, you know, hold back a little bit because you don't want your children to see you so upset. And I couldn't. I was bawling my eyes out. Because I knew I would probably never see him again. And one of my kids, I don't remember who it was, said, Mom, pick up the phone, you'll get another baby. And I thought to myself, oh my God, God closes one door and opens another. So there's always somebody knocking at the door when you have to give one up.
If you know a child leaves, you're going to miss them, and you just say, well, I did what I could for them while they were with me. But at least if you know they're going to a good situation, or you know, at least a stable, safe, you can live with it.
The Department of Children's Services' primary goal is reunification. Around 65% of children in foster care return to their birth parents. 2 out of 3 children are reunited with their birth parents within 2 years.
When they leave, some of them leave and they're going back home to a parent. Some of them leave and they're going home to an adoptive parent. Some of them leave and they're going to a relative.
I like to work with the birth parents or the relatives. It's nice for them. It's nice for you if it's okay, you know, if they're okay with you. A lot of times they blame us for their children being taken. But we have good relationships with 2 or 3 right?
Birth parents.
Birth parents, and
I
it's
think
very
that
rewarding.
I think that helps a lot with the loss that you feel when a child goes home.
Some kids are now adults even that I've had, and we have contact with them, and that's great, and I love it. I wish I had contact with every single child, I really do, but it doesn't work that way.
If reunification with a family member is not possible, foster families are the first ones to be considered to adopt the child. Foster families adopt over 90% of the children who are available for adoption through the child welfare system.
Over the years, we've probably had about 30 children on our home. We have 3 of our own biological children, and we've adopted 5 children from the foster care system. Basically, if kids are in care for about a year, the state needs to make a decision as to what the permanent plan is going to be. So they need to either turn towards reunification or they turn towards adoption.
Right.
And then another year or 2 after that is when you would probably finalize the adoption, because it takes that long for the court process.
Usually what happens is the foster parent is given the choice whether they want to adopt this child or not after, the family's gone to court. With the biological parents, DIFAS has, decided, this kid can't go back to them. We're going to put him in adoption. They first ask the foster parents.
It's getting better and better, the system. In the past, a child could linger in foster care for 3 years before there's even a plan of what's going to happen.
African American children make up about 2/3 of the foster care population and remain in care longer.
A lot of people ask us why we chose to adopt African American children.
And my reasoning for that is because I always wanted to help children that were least wanted. And I didn't care what they were. And African American children were very difficult to place because there are a lot of people that only want white children or biracial.
Kids don't sign up for foster care. And that's something you need to consider when you become a foster parent, is that kids are in the foster care system because they've experienced some type of a loss. You need to be prepared to deal with a child who may have some issues, some learning disabilities, some behavioral issues.
Don't go in it just because you want a perfect baby, because there are no perfect babies. There are no perfect beings. They are who they are. And, if you're looking for that perfect white child, maybe you should give it a second thought.
You can't go in thinking, I'm going to be able to adopt this child. You have to go in saying, I'm going to be able to help this child, foster this child, and if they become available for adoption, wonderful.
Thousands of children in New Jersey are living better lives today because of the dedication of their foster parents.
Fostering a child is going to be the best experience, the worst experience you ever have and the best experience you ever have. And it really is, because the love that you have for those children, you can't even explain it. You just love each and every one of them. And yes, sometimes you have to let them go, but you feel like you've done something good or made a difference. I think that you have to go into it understanding that you're going to have your heart broken, but you'll mend.
I think it's made our marriage stronger.
It has made me more accepting of all people.
We've learned what it's like to help other people.
I don't know if I could ever give it up. I don't know.